Hello, everybody. Libsyn UI update. Have you checked out Libsyn Studio? And oh my gosh, Libsyn Connect, plus all of your questions answered in an upcoming Ask Me Anything with Dave, our newly minted Director of Education, and Yvette, our Senior Product Manager. Welcoming Taylor Kirch, our Director of Product Management. All the Twitter alternatives, feedback on podcast artwork. What is the ideal length for a podcast? Rebranding and relaunching? Oh, that Samsung Dalvik stat stuff. And of course, stats. This time all about mean and median download numbers. Hello, I am Elsie Escobar. I'm the Director of Community and Content at Libsyn. And this is episode 232 of The Feed, the official Libsyn podcast, the podcast that takes it beyond how to podcast into keeping you podcasting, with podcasting tips and information for the everyday podcaster and taking you inside Libsyn. And this is our very first live behind the scenes recording of our show. Do not expect perfection. This is not a live to tape scenario. We will fumble. We will do our best to follow our show notes and not have too many edit points. And we will more than likely have some video tech issues and transitions. I mean, come on now. This show will be edited by our audio editor, John, so that those of you that listen to the episode get a nice, seamless experience. Head over to your podcast app of choice and follow us. Search The Feed Libsyn, and you will find us. Now, if you would like to get featured in one of our episodes, send in your 30-second promo. You will get a chance to hear and see our promos on this episode. But if you want yours to be part of the show, attach it to an email and send it to thefeed@libsyn.com. If you don't have a promo, but you want your voice on the show, you can always ask us a question or add to the conversation that you hear in an episode. So anyway, and now on to our main conversation with Rob Walch, VP of Podcaster Relations at Libsyn, as well as my co-host, right after our very first promo of the episode, Business Strategy for Weenie ADHD-preneurs.
One of the things that I've learned about myself in my lifespan of having ADHD and going from being a full-time employee to working for myself, it's not a character flaw. There is a way to rectify this. Don't make a butt joke. Don't make a butt joke. I don't know if that should go in the podcast. Hi, Rob and Elsie and listeners to The Feed. This is Katie McManus, and I'm an ADHD business strategist. I help entrepreneurs with ADHD to break out of the weenie and dive into the winning. Check out my show, Business Strategy for Weenie ADHDpreneurs, now at weeniecast.com.
Yay. Oh my gosh, here we are. Hello, Rob.
Good generic time of the day, Elsie. Yeah, or live time of the day.
Live time of the day. Look at this. We've got some folks in the house. Look at this. Hey, everybody. So excited to see you here. Look at Cheryl. We have Cheryl. We have Patrick over from LinkedIn. This is so excited. And Brenda. This is amazing. Oh, look at this. Hardy Mom. We have, so glad to see you all here. Absolutely. You know what I just thought, Rob? Something that we didn't do that I think we need to do live right now as we talk. I don't know if you're willing to do this, but we forgot to press record.
We forgot to press record?
Yes, because we have to record our audio.
Oh.
And we forgot to do that. So I'm like, I mean, because I don't know if we were going to be able to get John a clean thing. You know what I mean? I just released, like, as I was thinking, I'm like, is he going to be able to get like clean tracks for us? You know what I mean? This is going to be recorded, but... Okay. Should we do that? Are you up for that? Let's do it.
I am up for that. Okay. I'm turning on audio hijack, and
okay,
it's recording now.
All right, give me a moment. I am also doing this as we do it on the fly here, which is, I am very sorry that I forgot to tell us to do that. So this is a really wonderful, by the way, y'all, I'm serious. This is absolutely behind the scenes because we need to make sure that we
don't
have...
normally do live.
we don't normally do live. And we definitely, before we start to record, we always obviously press record. But I completely forgot we were doing this too. And we don't want John to get like, for whatever reason, our audio is a little funky or something. We have a clean take. All right. Yay. We did it. So we're doing it. We're doing it live. This is very exciting. And I'm glad that you all can see the behind the scenes. But before we get started with all of the things that we are going to be covering on the show today, we do have some things to talk about that are a little bit Libsyn centric. We always start with a little bit of a Libsyn kind of a thing that we have going on. And mind you, we do have an updated interface for Libsyn 5, right, Rob? So the navigation is now at the top of the at the top of the page, and it is text driven rather than icons. It's a little easier to navigate if you're used to the Libsyn 4 interface, and this update feels a little cozier, a little more streamlined. So check it out. And again, it's on the Libsyn 5 UI. We also have a new creation tool. It is integrated into Libsyn 5.
I would say this. Go back to the Libsyn 5 UI.
Yeah.
If you haven't used Libsyn 5 and you're on Libsyn 4, now is a really good time to move over. There are some additional features that are on Libsyn 5 that aren't on Libsyn 4. The 7, 30, 90-day stats, those are there. You can get yourself into Rezo and into Boomplay. Those destinations are only available over on the Libsyn 5 UI. And then on top of that, there's also the social sharing calendar. So lots of reasons, if you haven't tried the Libsyn 5 UI, to go ahead now and try it again. A little bit similar, closer to the Libsyn 4 UI is that top navigation. But I know a lot of people have been holding out. So again, some nice features that are on Libsyn 5 that aren't on Libsyn 4.
Absolutely. And speaking of, though, even in Libsyn 5, there's now integration with Libsyn Studio. So it's a creation tool that's integrated into the Libsyn 5 UI. It's on its early stages, right, Rob? So we're just starting out to get it.
I would say it's very early stages. Yes, very early. Understand that. I'd almost call it a public beta. Keep that in your mind when you're using it, and we really want to get your feedback. Give us feedback on this to product@libsyn.com.
Yeah.
All right. Do not use Safari. Use Chrome or Firefox. Those two work really great on a Mac. Like a lot of other audio software recording on a PC, on a Mac, Safari is not optimal. So again, if you're using this, testing it out, use Chrome, use Firefox.
Yeah, and then we're going to touch base on how to get some more questions answered here in just a moment. But then also, we do have Libsyn Connect. Right, Rob? This is something that we've been using. The reason we haven't been pressing record and haven't really had to think about it too much is because
we've been spoiled with Libsyn Connect.
That's right. We've been recording with Libsyn Connect, and everything's sort of built in. We just kind of sign on, and we get all the. Do you want to talk a little bit about what Libsyn Connect does?
Yeah. So, if you've been listening to the feed since February, all of the episodes except this one have been used Libsyn Connect to record, and the audio quality is great. But don't just take our word for it. Here's feedback from a couple of the beta testers. One said, quote, "The audio was great. My guest only had the mic on their headphones, but everything was super clear." That was from Sebastian at MTG Magic Moments. And then there was also this quote from one of the testers, listening to one of our podcasts that we use Connect with. The audio is so good and so much better than Skype. Excited for next week. 5 podcast interviews to do. And that was from Dave from Wet Fly Swimming Podcast. So Dave and Sebastian, thanks for that feedback. And we've been adding a bunch of new features. Connect is, again, it's not only great for doing interviews or with co-host recordings, you can also use it to record your podcast solo and then download the uncompressed WAV file and edit it if you want to do that, because, well, editing is your friend. But the audio quality with Connect is really that good. But one nice new feature is now there's a countdown timer to when the session is supposed to start. And you can see guests waiting as they get in to the waiting room. And then you can start the call session early if you want, which is one feature I've been so waiting for. Connect really is now the best audio interview recording offering out there. Great job, team. And it is really close to coming out of beta. I believe by around the end of this year, we will take it out of beta and call it a release product. But if you do want to get in the beta, just email me, rob@libsyn.com. But I'm excited about Connect. Next episode, we'll be back on Connect, and we won't forget about hitting record at the beginning. It'll do it for us.
And we have actually, Patrick asked, Connect is only audio or video as well? And as of now, Patrick, it is audio. We were really just focusing on audio only and getting the clearest audio possible. And all of kinds of questions, just like the one that you're asking, whether it's about the Libsyn UI, whether it's about Libsyn Connect, or specifically Libsyn Studio. If you have some questions about Libsyn Studio, how it works, and best practices for that product as well. We are going to be doing a Libsyn product Ask Me Anything, and that's going to be with Yvette and Dave, and that is happening on December 15th at 12 p.m. Eastern, I believe.
No, 2 p.m.
2 p.m., sorry. 2 p.m. Eastern,
Thursday the 15th.
December 15th. And there will be a link in our show notes. But for those of you who are here in our chat, I believe our team is going to be able to put the Crowdcast link in there. So you're welcome to go ahead and put that stuff inside of so that you guys can sign up and attend, which will be really, really awesome for you to do that. So again, all of the product questions that you you can have, those are the guys that are going to answer those questions for you. We, at this point in time, probably are not as well versed to be able to go into the nitty gritty of responding to all your questions. So if you do have any product questions, do attend that. I believe that is going to be recorded. It is not going to be on YouTube. It is going to be Crowdcast. So you do have to sign up, and then you'll get access, and there will be a recording there as soon as you sign up. And if you can attend live, it's already accessed right there as soon as you do it. You do have to have a Crowdcast account, which is free, and you can sign up very easily to do that. All right, so now moving on to yet another Libsyn announcement. We're very Libsyn heavy here at the top of the episode, but we have a little bit of good news, right, Rob?
Right. Yeah, we're happy to announce the appointment of Taylor Kirch as Director of Product Management. Taylor's focus will be to help drive product development with particular focus on creator-facing tools. And here is a quote from Taylor. Quote, "Throughout my career, I have always had a passion for creating compelling user experiences for content recommendations and monetization. I'm excited to join Libsyn, a podcasting pioneer and innovator, and apply my knowledge of the podcasting industry and product management to further advance Libsyn's product development roadmap." Unquote. So Taylor, welcome on board.
Taylor.
And we'll have a link in the show notes to an article on podpod.com about Taylor's hire.
Awesome. Okay, so in the last episode, Rob, we covered, what's going on with the great Twitter migration. And in doing so, I've been keeping an eye out, tapping to see what's going on in all the different places. And so I'm giving you a little bit of an update as to what I've been sensing out in the space, and then like the hip things or the places that people are going to. We talked about Mastodon last episode. So if you do have a question about that, go ahead and listen to episode 231. We talked about Discord in the last episode as well, the new community for podcasters on Discord. Again, if you want that link, just email me, Elsie@libsyn.com, and I will give you the link to sign up, because it kind of like, you kind of have to, the links, how do you say it when they don't work anymore? Expire. The links expire. So might as well just email me if you want an invite to that. It's not my group. It's Ariel Nissenblatt started that group, but I can get a link for you so that you can sign up. But anyway, now the big hip place to kind of head on over is over at Post. And you can find that at post.news. And you can follow me on Post over at post.news/Elsie. So you had a little bit of an experience.
I tried to join.
Yes, you did.
But I received this message. "We have added your email address to the waiting list. You are currently number 219538. I have no idea what that means. It's like getting a ticket from the deli counter. I'm not sure if that means there's 219,538 before me, or they're up to 218,000. Want to cut the line and get early access? Get 5 of your friends to sign up with this unique link, and then the link is https post.news/?r equals Q. I guess that's an L. 6K capital Z. I don't know. Maybe we but the point is, it put me in a queue, and so I'm not. You can't even join it. And I'll say this, and then we're going to talk about Hive here too. Yeah. But I look at all of these, Mastodon, all of them, kind of like vacation spots from Twitter.
Yeah.
Sure, people are going to go there, but none of their friends are there, so they all come back home eventually.
Yeah, I think that part of it is actually, you know what, Post. I like it because it's streamlined. Right now, you can only engage with it on a browser. There is no mobile app for Post, but it does have the ability to do all these really kind of neat things. It's. I think in terms of readability, it looks really nice and clean. I was one of the first 16,000 to be let in, I guess. I got in slightly early, and it's pretty chill, right? Really pretty chill. I like it. There's possibilities. I've been incredibly busy, so I haven't really been paying attention to being on social and engaging. And as with anything else, everybody, whenever you go into these places, part of the entire bonus of anywhere you go is that you have to use them. You've got to invest your time to be in there day in and day out, build relationships, engage in the platforms, make friends. That's the whole point of social. So if you're just going to join and expect things to happen for you just because you joined, not going to happen. Now, let's talk about Hive. So Hive, this is Hive Social
which is the exact opposite of News Post.
Yes, correct.
As Post, because it doesn't have a website and it's only on an app. So it's the exact opposite. So really, neither of them are true replacements for Twitter, which has an app and a website.
Yes, but you had
I did create an account there.
Yes, you did.
Yes,
you did. I did as well. And I think I had the same experience as you did. But you go ahead and tell yours.
At Podcast 411, and I made one post, but there was a lot of not safe for work material posts that I noticed. I mean, all the stuff that was trending tend to be very buxom-ish. Let's put it that way.
Yes.
Yeah. There was very little posts on the topics I cared to follow. Again, it doesn't have a simple web interface, and it looks like Android version is now available, but in beta at the moment. Originally, it was just iOS, but now they do have a beta version for Android.
Yeah,
So you saw the same thing that I saw?
Yes. So I signed up. I was like, oh, this is neat because it's got a different kind of a vibe. Well, the UI is differently. Like it's a lot more visual, and you pick you pick topics, and I guess you follow those topics. That's what I imagined. It's kind of like a magazine-ish type of a vibe to it. But so I went in and I picked the topics that I liked, and I thought, oh, this is kind of neat because it had the topics you could pick. But then I went into the Explore tab.
No, don't do that.
It was
don't do that.
It was very
don't do
explorative. It was very explorative.
Yes.
So it was very like, oh, wow, okay. So yes, lots of NSFW stuff there. That's all I have to say. That's the first time that I have seen. So I was just like, wow. Okay, then. Lots of parts and things for you to consume.
Yes.
There. Yes.
That get filtered out on other social media platforms.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So I kind of was like, well, that's that. And I kind of left because it just was a completely different feel than the post.news vibe as a whole. So anyway, if any of you are there, I think I'm there as well. I believe my handle in Hive is the Elsie Escobar. So hey, why not? I haven't posted anything in there. I haven't even, I don't think I even did my account, what do you call it? My little avatar. Like, I don't think I did any of that stuff yet. Because I got scared by that Explore tab. I wasn't wanting to explore that.
No. And I will say what I said last episode. If you don't have time to do this, don't. stick with Twitter
Yeah.
or your social media places. You've already built up your audience, and just concentrate on the content on your podcast, because it takes a lot of work, and that means a lot of time to build up a brand new audience on a new platform. And who knows which one of these other ones will wind up being the place to go to. Go and stake your claim, grab your domain, grab your username on any of these that you hear about. But then my recommendation is just come back to what you normally do and concentrate on your podcast and make sure your podcast content remains good. I just don't have time to do that.
Yeah, no, but I do feel that staking your claim is important. For those of you who are migrating out of Twitter and are maybe considering deleting your accounts and all of that stuff, because obviously that's your prerogative, and I'm not judging that. But I did see something as of the time of this recording, when we're recording on a Wednesday, November 30th, so things might change later. But what I did see is that there's been a couple, or at least one instance that I saw of somebody who has started a Twitter account for somebody else, like it's somebody else. They're impersonating somebody, and it looks like it's their account, but it's not their account, like a human person, right? Mm-hmm. And then what you do is you have to say, this is an imposter, or this is an impersonator, or this is not my real account. Ravi, you report them. Mm-hmm. But what Twitter requires is that they want you to give them your Twitter account of the real person, but the real person doesn't have a Twitter account
because they deleted it.
And so, this is a problem.
And who knows what happens with a deleted account, if Twitter is going to even recycle them or allow them to be recycled. So if you do delete your account, who knows in the future if someone else is going to be able to just grab your account and with a different belief system than you start posting, and people might still think it's you. So
right.
I would not recommend deleting your account. You can post up and pin it and say, I'm no longer going to be using this, but I wouldn't delete it, because there's too many downsides to deleting your account.
Yeah, no, it's you never know when it's going to be time for you to come back, or again, just like as a reference point, it is important for you to stake a claim. I think that's very important, to be able to stake a claim in a lot of different places. But yeah, that was a little funky. Anyway, moving forward a little bit, I just wanted to bring a little awareness. Like as of now, just a little behind the scenes here. Rob and I are live streaming using Ecamm Live, which is something that we've been using primarily to stream into YouTube. We've done a lot of local recordings only for ourselves and then repurposed videos for this. We've done a lot of that kind of a stuff. It's a fantastic tool. And we're also using Restream to restream out into all of the different places. So we're going live on LinkedIn. We're going live on Facebook. We might be going live on Twitter. I can't remember. And YouTube as well. So all this to say that we're also reporting on another platform that's doing some really wonderful things called StreamYard, which I use to do the same thing for the She Podcast. So every week, Jessica and I go live into all the different places using StreamYard. And I have also used StreamYard to record my own local stuff in the past. But they just had a really wonderful release for all accounts, including free ones, Rob, which is kind of neato. And what they're doing now is that they're providing local recordings of all of the assets. And that includes a master audio file, right, for both people. Audio files independent, so like Jess's side and my side, and then all separate files for all the video, which I was just like, what? So they give you all of those assets, and whenever, like, we do a lot of like screen shares and things like that for She Podcast sometimes too, when we're showing some things. It also gives you the independent screen share video too. So I was just like, wow, that's really neat. So we don't really do much with all of that stuff as of now, because we just say it and forget it. Again, it's a behind the scenes kind of a a thing. But I just wanted to let you all know about that. That's a great release for StreamYard, and especially if you're just wanting to tip your toe into doing a video podcast, it gives you a lot of stuff to repurpose your stuff. So, yay! We have some stuff here. Look, we have just one question that says that they love, the beta version. You don't need Restream. Oh yes, we haven't done anything for the Restream as of yet. Just one question in terms of that. And StreamYard and Restream work very well together, so that's kind of nice too. Well, thank you so much for giving us some insight into that stuff. All right, so now, Rob, I just brought this article in here since we're talking about video, and this is from a newsletter called Marketing Magic. Marketing Magic. And they did a really in-depth breakdown of whether or not you should be doing video for podcasting, because everybody keeps talking about it. So they really broke it down into those pros and cons with a lot of insight from folks who have been not only talking about it in the industry, like industry folks, but a lot of folks who have actually some experience in creating podcasts. And I'm going to make sure that those links of everything that we're mentioning are in the show notes. But this is a wonderful newsletter that you need to, this specific episode, or I don't know what you call it, is really good because it really breaks it down for you. And it comes down again to, I think, resources, right? And where your audience is, because think about what we've... Go ahead.
And we've talked about the numbers here before. I mean, if you're doing both the same content, audio and video, the audio is going to outnumber the video 20-1 for the downloads. But you're going to spend a lot more time getting the video together. So you really have to ask yourself, is it worth it? And, again, if you're doing long-form content, for the most part, no, it's not for most people. And people that are just sitting here, no offense to us on this, but this doesn't need to be video. Mm-hmm. Right? The value in this is the audio. And people are busy, and there's a lot more time in the day to consume audio than there is video. So if you have to pick one of the two, my recommendation is pick audio because you're going to get more. You're going to get a larger audience. I mean, the fact is, if you want to build an audience on video, you really need to be on YouTube, and it needs to be shorter content, and you need to be releasing content all the time, and you need to have 13 to 18-year-olds running around saying subscribe to PewDiePie or subscribe to whatever, and T-shirts and all that kind of stuff. And it's difficult, right?
Yeah.
So
it takes a lot more. I think that as a tactical approach, it's nice to be able to do it. But like even with us recording here, we have a way in which we do our thing, how we're able to keep podcasting, because Rob and I have been doing this since 2013. And I would say, I mean, please correct me if I'm wrong, Rob, but if we started to add an ongoing video production to what we're already doing.
Oh no, this is a one-time event as far as I'm concerned.
I think it's like
I'm not looking at this as a recurring thing.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying to you is that we were either like we would have to adjust like if we had to do it, right? If we had to do it, there would be some very specific conversations that Rob and I needed to have number one. Number two, there are other team members involved in helping us look good. We have people that are there on the stream watching us. We also have probably need more preparation time. Like at minimum, we would probably have to do one episode a month, right? Just to be able to make sure that we can get stuff out. It's just, yeah.
If you can't say this, my team will help with this. If you don't have that team, if you're solo and you're going along and doing good on audio, stick with it because it takes a team.
It takes a team and to be able to do all of the stuff. It's just it's a lot of stuff. And mind you, usually Rob and I roll out of bed and press the button and we do the thing and we get it done. But this requires a lot more all the way around. But speaking of that, though, now visual stuff is really important. And I think that we're going to do something that really works well for video, which is what we're doing right now. But we're going to do our very best to describe things for everybody. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to switch the screen and we're going to do a little talking about some artwork. So can you give us, before I switch it though, do you want to give us a little behind the scenes or like remember where this conversation began and why
This
we're doing this?
conversation, yeah. It started with Apple has changed in how shows are shown in different places in Apple Podcasts. And if they've removed the title of the show from below the artwork in the Listen Now area. So in a couple other places too now, the title is gone, and it'll give some information, but not the title of the show. And what we said is, hey, if you can't quickly tell what show that is, that's bad. And then the other thing was, even in search results, you want people to quickly look at your artwork and be able to tell what that show is about, right? Because people are looking at that artwork. So this was a challenge, and it said, send me your artwork, and let's see if we can guess what your show's about just by looking at the artwork and not looking anything up on the show. So we're going to show you the artwork. I'm going to give you what my guesses were when I have the guesses I went back to the producers with, and for the most part, I got them all right from what they said. So that's a good thing. Like I said, the goal here was not to trick me. The goal here was to make me look brilliant, because if people can't quickly tell what your show is about, shame on you.
All right, so here we go.
Go ahead and roll out the first one.
Here we go. All right. There's the first one. Go ahead.
I was saying, so my look at this one, I said, based on the font and the look, I would say it is a movie review podcast for movies from the 80s, mostly with some from the 70s and 90s. And the person said, yep, nailed it.
Oh, that's amazing. I love...
They have that Back to the Future look in that font there. So it was kind of gave it away from that point of view. So let's mention the name of the podcast. And the name of the podcast is Back Look Cinema. And then for those of you who are listening to the show, it would be a really great opportunity for you to now come into the YouTube channel and scroll through it. But we'll have a link to these podcasts inside of our show notes. And it does have like a vibe, like the vibe of the font itself, the way that the colors are used, the way that it's laid down, and it's got some really lovely elements that are related to film. And you can definitely see what that's like. But I think that what really helps with this one are the colors. The colors really convey what Rob was talking about, as well as the font. I'm a big fan of the way that it's like laid back. It's sort of like not it's not front, like facing forward. It's just lying back, like kind of like Back to the Future, right? Right. Yeah, and this font hasn't been used since the 80s, so that gives it away, except for people using it in Microsoft PowerPoint presentations in the 90s and some in the early 2000s. But yes, but they did a good choice. They picked a good choice to give that feel.
We like that. All right, let's see if I can do this from. It's a little harder for me to. Oh, did I do it? Not yet. Hold on. There you go. Okay. Here's another one.
So what it says on this one is the words are what you will learn. And I guess a podcast that goes over random trivia, facts, historical information that most people would not normally know. And they said that's pretty much on par for what their show is about.
Nice.
And it's nice. It's clean. Just a solid yellow background, a couple of books there, and then what you will learn right above it. So nice and clean. So good job there on that one.
Very simple, right to the point. We love that. Love that. All right, let's see if I can I'm trying to see if I can make I can't do it though. I have to do it here. Okay. Here's another one. Here's another podcast.
This one says Listening Superpower Podcast. And I guess a podcast that helps you concentrate and focus more on what people are saying. And that was close to what the show is about. So, yeah.
That's very cool. Now, this one has like little circles all around it, kind of like harnessing, I would assume, the focus of what that is, right? Like you're trying to really listen, and it kind of has like the audio, not audio as in like wavelengths, but like the the circular sounds that you would get sometimes. I don't know how to say that. The one thing that the focus of the podcast is, I'm glad that you were able to get it so fast, because at first I was just like, listening superpower. I thought it might have to do with not even conversations, but maybe like talking about the power of listening is what I would have thought when I would said that, but I don't know if that's close to what
it's to make you a better listener.
Ah,
is ultimately what they're focusing on.
Should I give that to my
Focus
kids?
more. Well, any husband should be probably listen to this.
Or me, because I don't. Like, my husband would say the opposite. It's like, you just
Back
don't
to
pay
our
attention.
promo earlier. Squirrels.
That's right. This is the ADHD me. Okay, here's another one. Here's another one right here.
Right. So this one, Author Inside You, and it is a podcast to help you and inspire you to become an author.
Right.
And I mean, that's the title really gives it away, but the artwork is nice and clean, and it's just the author inside you. It's right to the point, and I think that's a good one. And he actually has good business cards. He's one of the ones we had business cards with over the years as well.
Yeah, it's got a really great vibe to it too. There's the font itself is very readable as well, and then there's texture on it, which gives it a little bit of a multi-dimensional vibe as well. I like the fact that it's like black and white. Like, there really is very little color. It's very in your face and super clear. It has that sense of like stamping. Like, I could see this being stamped in different places, right? Mm-hmm. I like that.
And the black and white just comes from the whole being an author, writing on paper, right? It's all typed out on a paper. It's black and white.
Yep. We dig it. All right, let's see. Here's another one.
Right. So this one is called Fit Fizz Podcast. And I guess it is a fitness show that helps you use your mind to improve your energy levels and health, a kind of mind of body show. And I was clued in on that because it said energy, mindset, and health along the top.
Yeah.
And hosted by Kelly Wilson, and she said, "Yep." She goes, "Nailed it." So.
And it's got like
good job.
It's got a good it's got the allegory of kind of drinking one of those energy drinks kind of a thing, with the little bubbles. So it's got like a purple background with water droplet looking things in the back. And then from the font that says Fit Fizz, right? It's the fizziness inside of one of those energy drinks. And so she's really used that, and also looked like the circle that is holding Fit Fizz seems like a very large water droplet, like fizzy thing. So she really incorporated all of that in it, which is kind of nice too. Okay, here we go. Moving on. See if I can move this. There we go. Okay. Hey, this is our friends of the show.
Yes. So this is the language of bromance, and for those that can't see, it's a picture of two guys, one dressed as a Jedi holding a lightsaber, another one dressed as a Ninja Turtle holding a sword, and then they have the mics in front of them, and I just said a show by guys for guys talking about guy-focused stuff, especially nerdy things.
Yes, and then it's and mind you, lots of love, because in the middle of their thing, there's like a heart. Hence
from
the name.
from a hollow projector.
Yes,
the little hollow projector. Yes.
And so it's called The Language of Bromance. But I think what I really love this is that the vibe of it, even just looking at it, you can see that it's lighthearted. You can see that there is an element of, I would say, comedy or connectivity, not taking themselves too seriously, but being very focused on the geeky things, right? Because the level of detail of the outfits.
But I got to ask them, what microphone were they trying to imitate there in their artwork? Because it looks like two grenades. It does
look like two grenades. This is true.
So I don't know which microphone that was supposed to be a spoof on.
Right.
But that now I'm just nitpicking from the audio file kind of side of me.
Yeah, I know, but it is very cute, and I like it. It's got a lot of really fun little things, and you can definitely get the vibe of the kind of show you're going to be getting into by looking at that. All right, and I think this is our last one. I believe I'm going to see, but
Oh, and why did they have him holding Anakin's lightsaber or Darth Vader's lightsaber? Anyway, this one. Okay, so Route 66 podcast, and I didn't because he had blacked out the artwork when he sent it to me originally, and so I didn't go back to him on this one. But my guess is it's a podcast that talks about travel and along Route 66.
yeah.
So
Yeah. I mean, it seems pretty
right or
simple, and
wrong,
it's like
yeah.
it literally is the Route 66 sign. Nothing extra to it. It is black and white again, very big and readable. So there's very little left to the imagination, if you will, in terms of the Route 66. And you would think that it would have to do with Route 66 type stuff, like you're saying, like along the lines. Let me see, just to see if there's another one. Oh yeah, there is. Look, I forgot. Oh, this one is very cool. I like this. It's very nice.
Yeah, and this one is the everyone is moving to Berlin is what it says on the artwork. And I just said a podcast to help those that are or have recently moved to Berlin, and he said, "Yep, that's it." So, yep. So that and he's got some other artwork in the background behind the text that are pictures from Berlin, I'm assuming, and things around Berlin. But I guess people are moving to Berlin. I guess it's like kind of Nashville or Austin in the U.S., right?
That's right. And I think what I really like about this too is that it gives it a dimension. Excuse me. It gives it a dimension because it's kind of like a collage in the background, kind of like those traveler notebooks type of a vibe, where it looks like he's found papers and stickers and magazines and things like that, and has just pasted it all into something that's like a poster board, kind of a vision boardy kind of the deal. And then it's got the giant font on the top that's again incredibly readable, and that's a really key thing here. It's the background is a little bit muted, but you can still see some of it, but definitely the title of it is very clear. So it says everyone is moving to, and then a little sticker on it that says Berlin on top of it. So I like the use of that. Very, very clear and very good. I'm going to see.
You could franchise it in the U.S. Everyone's moving to Nashville. Or everyone's moving to Austin.
So we have a question here, Rob, from Cheryl. And she said, thoughts on the names at the bottom, or has that changed, I'm assuming, and no longer an issue? Remember we mentioned that in one of our...
Apple does not want any text with regards to the title of the show in the lower 15% of the artwork. So the way this one is, it's great. It's no problem. But yeah, in the lower 15%, you can put in something like with, the hosted by, but the title of the show, in that case, everyone's moving to Berlin, you wouldn't want any of that text in the lower 15% of the artwork. Yeah, so that's still a thing. But and again, you want to minimize your text anyway. Keep it minimal. You don't want to have, some people have way too much text on their artwork. So
for sure.
Remember, when you shrink it to 57 by 57 pixels, if you can't read it, neither can anyone else.
All right. And now we are moving on to a little bit of feedback that we got. Hello, Elsie and Rob. In the last few podcast episodes, you were talking about the mics you use to on the go. I was looking through the notes and couldn't find a reference to this, so I'm not sure which episode time slot to listen to again. Could you direct me the right way? And this is from Raquel. So, Rob, are you up for taking this for a moment? I'm going to put you on screen all by yourself while I go get mine because it's right in front of me. So I just want to let you know that. So you go.
Right. So when I travel, there's a couple different mics that I'll use. A Shure, where is it here? Shure SM58. But a lot of times what I've been taking with me the most now when I travel is the Samsung Q2U mic. I like the Q2U because it's both USB and XLR. But when I'm traveling, I'm using the USB part of it. So that's the mic that I'm mostly traveling with. I have an Audio-Technica 2100, but the problem with the 2100 is more hand noise. So than you get with the Q2U. So I like the Q2U in that you can hold it. That said, I still bring a tripod with me and try to put it on the tripod and not hold it wherever possible.
Cool. And I
And now
have
you.
I know I have this lovely, this a little container. Obviously, this is not the microphone. This is the microphone. And this is the Shure MV88 Plus. And this is the video, I don't even know how, like the entire kit, I guess, the video kit. And it comes with this little thing here where I put like headphones and cords, and then it's got this neat little thingy here that you put on top of the tripod, right? If you need to put a phone on it. And I've been using, and this is XLR, and it's not XLR. What am I saying? This is USB. And it travels really well. It's like super light. You can just stick it in there and you can wrap this puppy up and take it out. So that is actually what I've been using to travel with. I'll put it in my backpack and be done with it. And I think that one of the reasons that I've been traveling with this too is because of the versatility. I've been having to record on the go a lot lately because my kids have been doing a lot more school stuff and like activities and things. And I've had to record out so many different times. And so I've also been using the little video thingy for doing some impromptu Q&As with our membership for She Podcasts. And the audio has been very good. So I'm like in public places, I'll put it up, I'll open up Zoom and I'll stick that microphone in it and just talk to it. And it's amazing. I think I remember what recording it was that I did, a full-on recording with that one for this show, and it works out really well. So that's what I like to use.
You know what? You should get a shopping cart and mount it on a shopping cart and walk around.
I know. That would be very loud, though. Those shopping carts are very loud. All right. So I feel that this is possibly another wonderful time for another promo of the episode. So this is promo number 2, and this is Flowers for the Culture.
Hi, this is Crown Riri.
And this is Mr. Al Pete requesting you to press play and listen to our podcast, Flowers for the Culture, the show that gives flowers to people, places, and things that have influence on the culture.
And we also remind the culture to give flowers now. Don't wait.
So check us out. Apple, Spotify, all that good stuff. mpn-llc.com. Everywhere. We everywhere. Please check us out, y'all.
So nice to have those play. Yes, go ahead.
You want to be everywhere.
You want to be
He
everywhere.
said good. Everywhere. He's
Everywhere.
That's the right thing.
Yeah. All right. So we have a question from Quora.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Rob. What is the ideal length for a podcast to keep listeners engaged?
Yes, this question still comes up. There is none, is the answer. The question literally has no correct answer with regards to ideal length. The most popular podcasts in Apple Podcasts are long shows. Hardcore History, one of the largest podcasts per episode downloads, has 4 to 6 hour long episodes. Joe Rogan was 2 to 3 hours per episode when he was a podcaster. There is no such thing as too long, just too boring. You've heard Dave Jackson say that. You've heard me say it. We stole it from some other lady, whose name I can't remember. But make sure whatever length the episode is, it is based on the compelling content for that episode. If one week you have 45 minutes of content, do a 45-minute episode. If the next week you have 90 minutes, then do a 90-minute episode. But never try to limit the length thinking that will make the show better, or conversely, go longer thinking that is what people want either. Just release the length of content you have for that episode at that point in time. That's the right length. The length of your content. So maybe there is an answer. Whatever the length of your content is.
And just enough, so much. Just enough, so much. All right. So we have another email here. Hi, Rob. When I copy and paste from TextEdit, the lines are spaced out in Libsyn, but it is too spaced out when I copy into Libsyn. Is there a way to make the lines close together? Whenever I hit enter, it brings me down an extra line to basically start a new paragraph. Even when I copy from TextEdit, the spacing is still happening. Thanks. And this is from NR.
And this is regards to the show description and So there is, to solve this issue, first, what you need to do is paste in your text from TextEdit or Notepad if you're on a PC, TextEdit on a Mac. Second, you click the symbol that is the less than, greater than symbol, back to back, right? The less than, greater than symbol. That gets you into the code for the post. And then third, go to where you see less than / P greater than, and replace that with less than BR greater than. Fourth, delete the next / or less than P greater than after that, and repeat for any text you want to keep together. And then I sent him attached screenshots and asked him if he had any questions on that. But what he's talking about there is when you do the show notes in the description and then you go look on the web page you get from us, you'll see that a carriage return looks like a whole, there's a space in there between one sentence and the next where you really just wanted to kind of end a sentence but keep it together. And there's no way to get that back with the regular WYSIWYG editor unless you go in again and remove the paragraph symbol and replace it with a BR.
Mm-hmm.
And if anyone has questions on that, email me, rob@libsyn.com, and I will send you that information. But that is a nice way to clean up the way your posts look in the Libsyn web pages, especially if you're doing blog posts.
For sure. All right. Here's another email. Hi, Rob. Happy Wednesday. I hope you're well. We are looking to rebrand / relaunch one of our existing podcasts, and I thought I'd seek your advice, if I may. Our main concern and our number one risk is knowing how we keep the same channel and subscribers, but successfully rebrand. Do we have to change the RSS feed, or can it stay the same and we can just change the title and artwork? Or do we need to establish a new channel and redirect it to the old one? Any advice on how to do this successfully will be much appreciated. Thank you. And this is again from NR. And for those of you who happen to be watching us here, there is a little kind of culture thing that we do here on the feed. Anybody who does not want their name disclosed for their feedback, we call them name redacted, aka NR. So this is from NR.
So first thing I said to this person was, do not change your RSS feed URL. You want to keep it the same. You just need to go into our system and change the show title, the show description, and the show artwork. That's it. Show rebranding is done once you do those things. You need to keep the same RSS feed URL that will help keep the same Apple Podcast Store URL ID, which is really important to keep. And Apple has their search algorithm based on the historical number of subscribers, what they now call followers. And if you lose that store ID, you lose that historical subscribers, and then you fall down in the search rankings. So that's why you have to keep that historical subscriber follower info in Apple's database for your show and all those historical subscribers to help you in search results in Apple Podcasts. I mean, you do not want to give that up. The worst thing you can do is switch to a brand new feed and a brand new Apple ID. Again, to rebrand, simply in your Libsyn account, change show title, show description, show artwork. That's really it from the rebranding point of view. It is really that straightforward and that simple. But I get that question all the time about people, I want to close my account down, I want to do this. And I'm like, why? You're just rebranding a little bit. It's the same audience. They're changing it up. I mean, I changed from Today in iPhone to Today in iPhone, iPad, and iPod Touch to Today in iOS. Boom, 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 boom. Changed the show title 3 times. RSS feed never changed. Just the title, description, and the artwork. That was it.
It's super easy, and it happens so fast to be able to do that. And most people do that all the time. So yes. All right. So we actually have a little bit of feedback from a friend of Libsyn, and we are working with them here coming up in January. But I'm not going to tell you all about it because I think that he does a better job doing that. This is only going to take about 60 seconds, but I really, really want y'all to take action because this is a big need from some folks. Here we go.
Hello, I'm Mike Russell from Music Radio Creative, and I've got a very special live event to announce. I'll be partnering with Libsyn, one of the largest podcast hosts and distribution platforms, to bring you a very special live editing session on January 19th. Libsyn's video designer and podcaster Brian Cottington and myself will be breaking down some of the fundamental rules you need to follow and the problems that podcasters face in getting great sounding audio. And we want to help you. We want your raw recordings. Send us a 2-minute sample of your raw, unedited recording for a chance to be featured in the live show and have your audio restored to something that sounds pretty decent. The deadline for entry is November 30th, so get a move on and check the link in the description for the submission form.
All right. So I know it's November 30th right now as we're recording. But just do it. If you get it, if you find it right now, do it today, do it tomorrow, do it the next day. We can expand time a little bit. So go ahead and take action with that. The team is going to drop the link here in the chats, but also I will have it in our show notes, even though this show is not going to be coming out November 30th. It's going to be coming out afterwards. It's all right. If you listen to it, just go ahead and send it. Okay. Rob, we have
we actually had a question come in the chat from
Yes.
Caesar Castro. And he said he loves the ease of the internet podcast page, the blog page that you get with your Libsyn account, and being able to post and do. Basically, he's asking, are we getting rid of the blog post feature? That's not yet available in Libsyn 5. Hopefully, that will be added soon, because that's what keeps me on Libsyn 4. Until the blog feature is available on Libsyn 5, I won't be using Libsyn 5 full time because I love the blog post and being able to do blog posts. So I'm hoping that will be added at some point in the near future. But it's not there yet, Caesar.
And we do,
it's
but
something
we do
I'm definitely
still have,
asking about.
We do have the podcast page on Libsyn 5, though. I mean, just a page, not with blogs. Not with blogs.
Not
but
with the
there's-
blogs, where you can't do a blog post
Yeah.
yet on Libsyn 5.
Yes, it
Hopefully
does.
that will be added because that was definitely an oversight. It should have been there, to be honest.
Okay.
It's an easy thing.
Here we have another email. Hi, Rob. Is there a way that I can teach myself more about the podcasting industry? I've built my show with zero understanding of the business side, and now that the show is popular, I often wonder how much I'm being underpaid. I have all the sponsors I need, but I'm never certain of how to charge them, and they always seem to say yes to my pricing a little too quickly. Today, NR Media approached me about doing a drop in an episode in my feed. I took my price for branded episodes and doubled it, and they didn't blink. Anyway, are there ways that I can get myself up to speed so that I can understand industry standards and how my show fits into them? Your stats breakdowns got me close, but I'm very niche, and the companies I work with have deep pockets. I don't know my value. And this is from NR.
Okay, so hi, NR. In short, you want to charge more until they stop buying, and then charge a little less until they start buying again. I mean, as you said, you are in a niche, and I mean, he asked that I don't mention his niche, and the value of your niche to your potential advertisers will be different from all other niches. So sadly, there is no place to really go to learn the value of your specific niche. That is something you need to work out by keep raising the rate until they say uncle method. So that was my response to him. And then he replied back after that.
All right.
And
So
you wanna
this is
hear,
the reply.
Here's the update.
Hi, Rob. Circling back to thank you. Some of them went for the higher rate, and others didn't, but they all negotiated. The ones that wouldn't budge were told that they would lose their brand exclusivity. I offer that to advertisers only one widget company at a time. They did not like being faced with that, as it is a small niche. And so they all resisted the loss of exclusivity. That resistance allowed me to continue negotiating. I was able to get commitments for 2023 at the higher number in exchange for holding the exclusivity. Anyway, I appreciate the help very much and hope you have a wonderful day. Best, NR. That's nice.
Right. And again, this comes down to niches are really difficult, and you have to learn your niche, and you're going to leave money on the table early on, and you just raise the rates until they say no. And then if there are magazines, and I've said this before many times, if there's magazines that cover your niche, go to those magazines, flip it over, go to the back and find all the half page and less ads, and find out how much people are paying for those ads. And you can kind of get a feel for what people are willing to pay from that perspective. And then go out to those people and say, hey, I got a podcast that covers this niche. My audience is 100% what you're looking for since you advertise in this magazine. And then charge them, what they paid for in the magazine. Mm-hmm. Work that way.
It's a good way to do it. But you also found a little article, right, Rob? Tell us all about the article you found.
Okay. Yes. So the title is Listening to Podcasts May Help Satisfy Our Psychological Need for Social Connection, Study Finds. And in the article, they had a link to this the study. And and it's a white paper, and it's really boring. But it's good information. And so let's cut to the chase and go right to the conclusion, because that's what it really is all about. There's all this information to get you to a conclusion. So that said, I will go ahead and I will read this. And if you're driving, you may want to pull over. Because, again, it came from a white paper. So here we go. Quote, our findings extend our knowledge of podcast listening by demonstrating that across a broad global sample, people who have listened to a podcast have higher informational needs, lower belonging needs, and lower neuroticism. I knew I wasn't going to get that word. Neuroticism than those who have not. This helps to contextualize motives among regular podcast listeners and demonstrates novel behavior outcomes associated with commonly assessed individual differences among our podcast listeners. We found that socially relevant personality characteristics were associated with social engagement with podcasts and hosts. Furthermore, we provide some initial evidence that listening to more podcasts and socially engaging with podcasts are associated with greater presence of meaning and forming parasocial relationships with the hosts is associated with a greater sense of relatedness. Our findings support the idea that podcasts can provide informational and social gratifications to listeners. People, you're getting gratified right now. Through our inclusion of participants who have not listened, had not listened to podcasts, we were able to gain greater insight into dispositions that motivate podcasts use separate from our examination of aspects of podcast listening and obtained gratifications. We conclude that informational needs likely motivate podcast listening and that certain types of listening can provide social gratifications, unquote.
Very nice.
So in short, listening to podcasts is good for your mental health and gratification needs. And we have a link in the show notes to back that statement up. So there, you tell people that if they listen to your podcast, they're going to be more mentally sound. Unless it's a podcast about my Dayton Flyers.
Yeah. All right. So, Martin, just to clarify, the microphone that I use is the video kit, and it is the MV88 Plus with a little plus next to it. So the MV88 exists. It is not what I have. It is the MV88 Plus. And that's the one that I use. It is my favorite tech of the year. You heard it here first, folks. Okay, so we have another quarter question. It is listening to podcasts better than watching them? Which is more beneficial? I wonder why this question is coming after this study that we just talked about.
There is more time in the day. So this is, been watching. There is more time in the day to listen to audio than to watch video. You can listen when you're driving your car, walking your dog, riding your bike, working out, doing yard work, even when working. If you're at work and watching a video and the boss comes around the corner, off to HR you go. But if you are listening to a podcast and getting your job done, good employee are you. So again, much more time in the day to consume audio than any other medium.
All right. Good on that. Mind you, we don't mind you watching us right now because I think it's kind of fun. But anyway, here we go. Here's another email. Hi, Elsie and Rob. If this hasn't come to Rob's attention, I thought you might want to know, and we'd certainly like to get to the bottom of this. If others are experiencing this, it might be worth addressing on the podcast. Just today, one episode of our 5-part limited series podcast soared from a handful of downloads per day to over 6,000 just today. All attributed to user agent Dalvik and destination Samsung. This has to be some kind of glitch or malicious effort or other interference. Want you to know, but also would like to know what you know or find out. Keep up the great work. Regards, NR.
So this email was sent on November 18th. So this person was the first person to find out this issue with Samsung. And he was able to figure it out. It was Samsung because we have destinations. So we did confirm with Samsung it was an issue on their side. And they also confirmed that it is now fixed. And it had to do with preload being done for some popular podcasts. So I guess congrats for being one of the popular kids. Prior to the issue, Dalvik was 0.64% of downloads when I looked at all IEB downloads from November 4th to the 10th. However, it was 5.64% of all IEB downloads when I looked from November 18th to the 24th. So I tried to take the same days of the week. And after Samsung said they fixed the issue, it was back down to a little under 0.5%. So in October for the whole month, Dalvik was 0.53%. So from the check on stats, from when they said they fixed it, it does confirm that Samsung's fix worked. Overall, it looks like the dates of the issue range from November 18th, the day that this person sent the email, to November 29th, with the fix being on November 29th.
Yeah.
This is the nice thing about Libsyn's destination stats, right? NR and we were able to quickly see that the increase was in Dalvik and was directly tied to the Samsung destination. But Samsung is hardly the only one that uses Dalvik. It is actually part of the Android library and used by many apps, the same way Apple Core Media is used by many apps. So if you want to see if your show was affected, search your stats from November 18th to 29th and see what percentage are from Dalvik. Then take a look from, say, November 4th to the 15th and see what the two percentages are for Dalvik. If it went up by a factor of 10 or more, you were probably affected.
Yeah.
It didn't affect our show. I guess we're not popular enough.
Well, actually, you know what? It affected She Podcasts. I saw that. Like, it affected She Pod. I went in there and I was like, oh my God, why is it so, and it's so funny because it was primarily one of our latest, not our latest episode, I don't think, but I think the title was like, Jess went viral again. And so I thought like, oh, look, even our episode went viral. And I thought, oh my God, we got so many more people listening to that one. And I was like, oh, it's that Dalvik thing.
Did you release the episode between the 18th and the 29th?
I believe I did. I can't remember when it was.
Yeah, we didn't.
I didn't look.
Yeah, so. I think that has to do with it too. So, I mean, again, this issue is likely, only affecting shows doing well in Samsung previously, but more than likely ones that released an episode between the 18th and the 29th. This was not a Libsyn issue. It affected popular shows regardless of where they hosted. Samsung also confirmed that they will be changing the user agent back to SP-agent. So that going forward, if this issue came up again, it would be SP-agent. But again, I don't see that happening again. They said they fixed it. And Samsung, thank you for the reply and the confirmation and for the quick fix.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I'm sure that update really helped out a lot of people. And now, actually, we are continuing with the conversation all about one of the favorite things for most of you who are watching us here or listening to the episode and its stats. But before we get into that, we are going to hear from promo number 3 for this episode. And this is Telehell.
How to describe telehell in 30 seconds? When I was alive, I stole cable. The electric shock from the cable box killed me. Now I'm stuck in hell reviewing the worst and the dumbest TV shows and moments of all time. And I'm going to keep reviewing those shows until I find the one program that checks off all of Dante's 9 circles of hell.
Limbo, lust, gluttony, greed, wrath, heresy, violence, fraud, treachery.
Sounds easy, but it's not. Telehell, where TV meets torture. Look for us wherever you stream podcasts. And remember,
If it's not in telehell, it's not worth a damn.
One of the things that I've learned about myself.
We went to a different one.
So
my God,
I'm wondering,
Telehell.
doesn't Sledgehammer meet all those requirements? I don't know. He has to check out Sledgehammer. I think it might end. I might have ended his show.
Oh my God. All right. So this time, what are you talking about, Rob? You were doing some
Stats.
mean and median numbers.
Median and mean.
You're taking it up.
Right, and this is the median and mean numbers are based on all episodes released on Libsyn, Libsyn Pro in the month of October with downloads measured until the end of November, measured till this morning. And on average, each file was about 45 days old. This is, again, for all shows hosted on Libsyn and Libsyn Pro. The median number for October was 145, down a smidge from September's 146. The adjusted mean average, where I throw out the top 0.5% of any files and any files with 3 or less downloads, the adjusted mean for October was 1527, up a smidge from September when it was 1525. 7.6% of all downloads for episodes released in October were in the 5K range or greater for downloads. That's the magical number some advertisers look for downloads for campaigns. And this was the same as both August and September's, where it was also 7.6%. So it's been steady the last 3 months, or those last 3 months. And then here are some numbers to measure against. And to put things in perspective, if your episodes are getting over 145 downloads after 30 days, you are better than half the shows. If you are getting more than 1,200, you're better than 80% of shows. More than 3,500, you're better than 90% of shows. More than 8,100, you're better than 95% of shows. More than 20,000, you're better than 98% of shows. And more than 34,000, you're better than 99% of shows. And for the most part, October's numbers were almost identical to September's numbers. I mean, it was very, very little change. I mean, actually, between August, September, and October, I have never seen 3 months with such consistent numbers. So interesting on that perspective.
Very nice.
There we are.
That's amazing.
So now we go to where have we been? And I really haven't been anywhere. But how about yourself? I was on vacation. I took a week
You
off.
were on vacation. What? Oh, that's right. You were. Oh, my God. Okay. So I was on YouTube. I was still here. By the way, those of you who are watching us and are not subscribed, what is happening? Go ahead. Go over to our YouTube channel. youtube.com/at LIBSYN at Libsyn. And I did another live event, Rob, which was Mic Basics, How to Make Your Voice Sound Amazing with Michelle Levitt from Heil Sound. And it was phenomenal. She really walked through all of the different types of like the different mics, but then she really broke it down as to like why they are what they are. And there's lots of visual aids, which is really, really good. So if you want to get really deep into being able to get the right microphone for you, especially if you happen to be shopping for them, that's the one that you need to watch. We also did a Twitter Spaces. So I know Twitter is a little bit of a hot mess, but please still follow us over there, twitter.com/Libsyn. And we might be doing some Twitter Spaces coming up next year, hopefully it's still happening. And, continue doing our thing. So follow us in all those places, as well as Instagram. Why not? Why not say all the things? So that's where I was, Rob. But
Okay. So
Where are
before
we
we go
going?
to the next part.
Oh, yes.
We had a question in the chat.
Okay.
So I want to address it from Robert Sturble. He asked, what is the average monetization at those download levels? So the answer is if it's a host-read ad, the typical host-read CPMs, we talk about that on every other episode as well because that's something AdvertiseCast tracks, is right around $25. So the typical CPM is around $25. So if you're doing 2 host-read ads and you have, say, 10,000 downloads, you're going to get $250 for one and $250 for another. You get $500. At 5,000, it would be $500, right? Or $250, I guess it'd be whatever. It'd be $250 for 2 ad reads in a 5,000 download per episode number. And make sure, yes, doing my math right. So, so that is roughly where you would be. Again, if you were at 10,000, it'd be about 500 for 2 ad reads. If you're at 5,000, it'd be about 250 for the 2 ad reads combined. For your share, that's your share after split.
Yeah. All right. And then he just clarified, yes, host-read ads are typically $25 per 1,000 listeners. And we do have, Robert, every other episode we do report on the numbers that come from AdvertiseCast as well. Hey, team, if you can find the AdvertiseCast numbers, the ones that they publish every month, just give the URL here so that Robert can look at it. It's updated every month, so you're able to see those average CPMs there too. That would be really cool.
Right. And then if you're not at those levels, but you're getting over 10,000 downloads a month for all episodes combined, then you can go to Libsyn.com/auto ads, and then we can stitch in pre-produced ads for you. But right now, really, we're looking for shows that are 10,000 or more downloads in a given calendar month, all episodes combined. So that's another way. Those CPMs are a little bit lower, but you don't have to do anything. You don't have to do any host reads. We can do pre-roll, we can do post-roll, and we can do multiple mid-rolls. So you can make some good money there, even with just 10,000 downloads in a month for all episodes combined. So again, that's Libsyn.com/auto ads.
Yeah, team, you can go ahead and put that URL there too and the links. And of course, everything that we're mentioning is going to be in the show notes the entire time. So if you are listening to this later on, you can find links to everything that we've been talking about inside of our show notes, which you can really access to almost every single podcast app. All right. So Rob, where are we going?
Well, we're going to be doing our last live event of the year.
Yep.
On
this
Crowdcast. Time, it's on Crowdcast, and it's an Ask Me Anything, as we mentioned earlier, with Dave Jackson and Yvette Mance, and who's our senior product manager. And that's going to be asking her questions about Libsyn Studio and Glow and Libsyn Connect. So, So that's coming down Thursday, December 15th at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. And then in the first half of 2023, we will be at Podfest Expo in Orlando, January 26th to the 29th. I hope to see you there. And we have a link to podfestexpo.com in the show notes. I am speaking at Podfest on Friday during the lunch session. So I'm doing my State of the Podcasting space type session. And then we're going to be at Podcast Movement Evolutions March 7th to the 10th in Las Vegas. And then we're going to be back in Las Vegas, NAB show, April 15th to 19th. And then you want to take the next one since it's yours?
Yeah, and then in June, oh my goodness, in June, She Podcast Live, June 19th. It's going to be in Washington, D.C., and that you can get your tickets now. So there will be a link in the show notes so that you can buy those tickets for yourself now. June 19th in Washington, D.C., and that is She Podcast Live. It seemed, and then we have don't we? I think some of us is going to go to the podcast show. I believe the podcast show is in May something. Okay. We haven't written that one down.
Yeah, and we have a few others that we're going to go to in the first half. We'll mention as we get closer.
Yes, Martin. Oh, look, Martin put the date up there. So I do believe, Martin, we are going to be at the podcast show. Well, not we, as in Libsyn is going to be at the podcast show.
Someone from Libsyn.
Someone for Libsyn is going to be there.
Right.
Yeah.
Which includes now Julep and other companies. Right. So, and AdvertiseCast and Libsyn. But yeah, someone from the Libsyn universe
exactly. So sometimes folks, when we're telling you that we're going to be at these places, it means we Libsyn. Sometimes Rob and I will be there. Sometimes we won't be. Sometimes one of us will be there. So just stay tuned. Oh, good. Happy birthday, Martin. May 25th. Yay. All right. So I think that we're finished, though. You made it, Rob. You made it through the live show.
Okay.
Oh, my God. Right. So mind you, if you want to send us some feedback, you can always send us feedback, and you can do it over to thefeed@libsyn.com. So if you want any of those questions that you heard on this episode answered, or you have some answered questions, or you want something else that we want to cover, you can send us voice feedback, or you can just email the show. Again, thefeed@libsyn.com. And you can also call us at 412-573-1934. So you can leave us a message. And you can also use SpeakPipe, speakpipe.com/thefeed. And that is about it. I believe that is all we have today, Rob. So you did it, and I am incredibly happy that you made it with me here, and we did it. And happy holidays for folks. I know.
And I usually go ciao, but you never see this because we're never video. But I always go ciao.
Oh, bye. I know. That's good. Now I see what you're doing.
Yes, ciao.
All right. So now we are going to finish it all up. Thank you to all of you who attended. I'm so glad that we got to interact with you here. And again, this show is going to go live in your ears next Tuesday. I don't know what the date is, but it's next Tuesday.
The 6th. December 6th.
December 6th.
Day that will live in infamy.
That's right. So you guys got the scoop early in the episode, and that is about it. So I am going to go ahead and put our little closing screen on and finish the show. Bye-bye.